There is something that our most successful 9 to 5ers and fat loss students do that is a characteristic across the board. And everyone can develop this, but there is one singular characteristic or character trait or whatever you want to call it. Again, we'll define it in a second, that I see our most successful students doing and executing on consistently. Now, firstly, before we move on, I have released a brand new daily health checklist for 9 to 5ers. It's a completely free guide containing my 7 daily non-negotiables for losing fat, boosting energy, and optimizing your health and performance. So if you would like a completely free copy of that, just comment the word guide below and I'll drop you a copy across. Also drop the word replay if you're watching back and live if you're on with me right now. But what is this characteristic trait? So after now working with over 400-500 people online, we have gotten to know quite a few people. We've had some amazing successes. We've had some disappointments. We've had some people who didn't like what we do. Ultimately, I'm never going to be able to help everyone, but we get a really good feel for what works, what doesn't, and what's going to be successful for 9 to 5ers who work in a busy environment, who have families, and who want to be successful in terms of health, in terms of fitness, in terms of overall performance, and it feeds into everything else. And the number one characteristic trait that really leads to successful transformations, not just in fitness, but in everything else, is ownership. There is a lack of victimization in the way people talk who are successful. Just period, end of story. It's a case of if they have challenges, if they have obstacles with work or with family or with their relationship, it's a case of they own it, they accept it, and they deal with it, and they find a solution. Every single one of us is faced with challenges day in, day out, whether it's with general fitness, whether it's with business, whether it's with work pressures. It doesn't matter whether it's with being busy with family. Like, there's so many pressures of day to day that it's almost hard to keep track. But those who are successful take full ownership. You have a complete and utter control over your schedule and your ability to plan an exercise, to plan in meals. And when you give away that to someone else, you completely disempower yourself. If you are constantly talking in terms of, I can't do this because of X, I can't fit in training because of Y, I can't prep my meals because of Z, you just take away your innate ability to make progress. You have complete control over the vast majority of the variables in your life. Yes, you have to show up for a certain time for work. You don't need to be in that job. You don't need to have a job. Most of it would argue against that, and of course I wouldn't advise it. That's not the real world we live in. But ultimately, you choose what time you get out of bed. You choose what time you go to bed. You choose what you do in your spare time. The average person watches television more than 3 hours a day. That's the average. So there's some that are more. What are you doing with your free time? Are you spending it with family? Are you preparing meals? Are you looking and thinking ahead? Are you spending it doing exercise? Things that are going to add massive value and quality to your life. Because those who take ownership spend time in the right places. This is my opinion. I made a conscious decision a couple of years ago when I started to build my business that I wasn't going to sit and watch television. It's not something I was going to do. Now, I do watch films and things at the weekend with my girlfriend, and I really enjoy doing that. But I made a conscious decision to ditch it during the week. Because in my opinion, no one is going to look back in their life and say, I wish I watched more TV series. I wish I watched more fucking mind-numbing TV programs. I just don't see anyone ever saying that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't ever see that being something anyone utters and actually means. So I made the decision to do that. And for example, there are people on our program. I can think of an example of Matt, who is a single dad of 3, done really well in the program. He got lean. He dropped like 10, 20 pounds. I think it was close to just under 20 pounds in the program. He worked a really high pressure job, a lot on, really busy schedule, but he took ownership. He trained at like 5 a.m. or 4:45 every single day. almost. I actually had to tell him to scope down his training a little. He religiously prepared or thought ahead in terms of meals and got a prep company in, for example, to help with that. But rather than being victim to his circumstances or, oh, my schedule's busy, my family, the kids are really busy, they're driving me crazy, he took ownership of every situation. This is what my day looks like. This is what my week looks like, but I can take ownership of that. And when you take ownership, you give yourself the power to change. Every single person has the ability, the power, the scope to change and to make better choices. You remove that from yourself, you completely disempower yourself and give yourself and take your opportunity to make progress away. Every single person has the opportunity every day to move forward, to get better, to lose weight, to get fitter, to get healthier. I was in Florida recently, and honestly, I couldn't believe how many people I seen that were overweight or out of shape. More than 80 to 90% of the population, but from what I see. And every single person has the power to change that. Taking the mindset shift of you own it, you're in control, you have the power, you have the ability, that's what's going to put you back in the driving seat. And that characteristic trait, to own every situation, no matter how challenging, no matter what's going on, no matter how busy work is or how much you have on with family, people who take ownership of the situation, of their days, of their weeks, of their months, are those who are successful. So if you're stuck, if you're struggling, take fucking ownership, because you do have the responsibility, you do have the ability to start building and prioritizing your health, your well-being, because ultimately, if you don't have it, you've got nothing. So if you're slowly sliding the wrong way, you're getting unfitter, you're getting unhealthier, you're not spending time on yourself, and you're not exercising, who's going to fucking change it? You're the only person that can do it. Period. End of story. I can be a great guide. We can be a great guide, I would like to think. We've helped quite a few people. But we can only be just that. And we only ever will be just that. We can't actually drive the bus as such. We can be a great sat-nav, but we're never going to drive you to the destination. You have to do that yourself. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, taking ownership is absolutely essential in all situations. Take ownership as you go into this week. Start planning out your day. What can you work towards this week? What's one thing you can work on this week, tomorrow, today, to set yourself up for success? The small steps are going to compound over time. And as I said, we have released a brand new 9-to-5ers daily health checklist. This is 7 daily non-negotiables, little known non-negotiables that is, that are going to help you lose fat, boost your energy levels, and optimize your health and performance. So if you want a completely free copy, just comment the word guide underneath and I'll drop you across one for free. Have a good rest of your weekend, team.